Hey guys, I've been asked to talk about vegetarianism and veganism so many times, and I have to admit it's something I've been trying to avoid for a long time, and it's something I am pretty scared to do so because it is such a sensitive subject and there are so many opinions about it that I don't know. I've seen so many good people being bullied online, being laughed at and talked down to by vegans because they didn't have the same opinion as the vegans, or because they just talked about it and spoke up and told about what they thought about it. I've been scared to make this video, but I feel like I have to do it. Like, you guys have asked me so many times, and it shouldn't be something that you should not be able to talk about, so I'm gonna do it today, and I hope it's all gonna make sense in the end because I've been writing down some notes so that I have something to just follow a little bit so that I don't forget my points, and I hope it's all going to make sense in the end because it's kind of just a lot of thoughts put together, but let's try and see how it's gonna go. So the first question and the main question here is if I do support vegetarianism and veganism, and of course I do, like hell yeah I do. I've also myself been trying to experiment with some vegetarian recipes and vegan recipes over the last 6 months, just out of curiosity and in my own speed, and that's what I think this whole thing should happen from. It should happen from curiosity and your own like motivation. I have, throughout the time I've been on YouTube, seen like so many examples of vegans and vegetarians laughing and looking down on other people. I have seen, I once found this YouTube channel where a group of vegans are taking videos from others on YouTube that are talking about these things, and then they run it through while they comment and laugh, and honestly they're like so rude and uncomfortable that it's just, I think that is the wrong way to go about it, and that's actually like what I want to talk about in this video. I don't know how they can't see there's something wrong with being like, they kind of bully these people, laugh at them, and I can't wrap my head around how they can't see that is the wrong way to go. When I say that they're doing it wrong, I mean that their approach to this entire thing is very damaging. They just seem preachy, know-it-alls, and kind of they just become very uncomfortable for other people. And the weirdest thing is that these people are making these very harsh comments and videos about people that have made videos that are actually trying to do the transition just in their own speed. So they're kind of bullying people that are trying to go where they are, and I think that is completely insane and crazy. It all just seems so like provoking, and it's not gonna lead to anything good at all. It's just gonna create them and us, kind of, because we have the vegans over here that are looking down on the rest, and them, like we have a group over here that are eating meat, and they start to think, oh, those vegans, they're very like over the top crazy and provoking. So we're gonna have these two groups that are not going to listen to each other, not going to talk to each other, and in that way they can't learn anything from each other at all. Like, we're just gonna end up in a very weird situation where we're not going to see any progress. So I've decided to talk a little bit about where I'm from and how I grew up, because I feel that can be quite important to understand where other people come from. We're all from different countries, from different backgrounds, we have different relationships to animals and all of that. So I thought it would be a good idea to sit down and just tell you guys how I grew up, and maybe that's going to give you a better understanding to my relationship to meat and animals. So I grew up on a farm. We had so many animals, like we had horses, we once had a cow when I grew up, when I was a little girl. We have had pigs, we have guinea pigs, we have cats, did I say dogs, rabbits, parrots, Oh, we've had so many animals. I'm sorry, I can't even just like... We've had so many through time. And also, I just told you that we once had a cow. My dad got it for his birthday. I don't really remember when, but I was like very young back then. I was like a little girl. But I remember my dad got this cow and it was a man cow. And growing up, like, he got bigger and bigger and more out of control and stronger by time. And at some point my mom decided that we couldn't keep him anymore. He was like so difficult to handle that it was about time to put him down. Also, he had always had so much like trouble with his stomach, like his entire system. So it was about time to put him down. We couldn't have him any longer. So we did that, and vegans wouldn't have eaten him. They would, I don't actually know what they would have done, but in our family it was a tradition. We grew up on a farm. It's how it's always been, that we of course had his meat. We ate his meat. And we've also had so many rabbits, and some of them we ate. Like, the relationships to the animals were not just like friends and fun, but they were also a way of getting food. So I'm just gonna say my mom was very sad about having to say goodbye to this cow. It was called Kelle. My mom really liked him, and we all just really liked him, but we couldn't keep him any longer. So it was the decision that was gonna be made, and that was just how it was. And actually there was no real crying or sadness about it, because it was a part of the life circles. It was a part of the food chain. It was just how human beings have been from the very beginning. Like, that was just how it was. There was nothing really there to think about, if it makes sense. If we go far back into history, we used to hunt for food. We used to be hunters. If we needed food, we would go hunt for it or find it in nature. We were a part of the food chain, and there were nobody to question that. But now we have become very, very privileged. We have farmers and manufacturers that are taking care of the entire food production, and all we have to do when we're hungry is to go down to the local supermarket and buy something. Whatever you need, you can get there. It has become so easy, and we're so privileged. The world has changed so much since back then that now we've come so far that we can actually now sit down and start to think about the individual animal and talk about its value and its feelings. We've come so far, and we're so privileged that we can now sit down and start to question if we are a part of the food chain, or at least if we should be a part of the food chain. It's like we're now so privileged that we can start to focus on not just getting food and staying alive, but also what kind of food we want to eat, and what the food that we eat, how it affects the world. I myself hate the fact that we mass produce animals, that we give them lives, then count down their days to the very first day that we can then kill them again and eat them. The lives of these animals are so short, and they're counted from the very beginning. They're mass produced, and their life conditions while they're living are often very bad. I hate that. And that is also one of the reasons why I myself started to consider vegetarianism and veganism, because I think the way we're doing it now has become so crazy and weird. People do no longer know where the food comes from, the food that they eat. It's not like back in the day where you went out and hunt for your food, or just, if we don't really want to go that far back, then just back to the time where a family had a couple of animals and they managed things on their own. It was a time where the animal was just a few. The cow was walking around on grass, all of that. But at a certain time, the family might have needed some food, and then they would have put down a cow to then feed the family for a certain amount of time. But it was still a time where you knew where things came from, and it wasn't a mass-produced time. It was still something I can relate to, where now it has all just become so weird. I think most people would want to cut down on their meat intake. You just need to inspire them with great meals that they can make, or new ways to prepare their vegetables. All of that, inspire them with ideas instead of putting them in an awkward, less valuable position than yourself. I know that cutting down on meat and vegetarianism and veganism is something that we're going to see a lot more, and I think it's the future. I definitely think so. I just think it's very scary the way that we're trying to change the world and the way that vegans are trying to inform people and push them. I think I'm not saying everyone here, that's very important that you don't misunderstand me in that way. It's not everyone, but I do think I see so many that are handling this in kind of a dangerous way that I don't think is gonna get us anywhere. So I wanted to make this video because I think it's scary how there is becoming a distance between vegans and people that are still eating meat. And I think we should be careful that the distance is not getting bigger, so that in the end we can't talk to each other anymore, and that we can't learn from each other anymore and share information, valuable information, not just preaching and talking down, because that doesn't make sense. Make it interesting, let people feel that they're making a difference with small steps at the time. Make people feel that they're actually doing something positive for the world, even though they're taking baby steps and even though they're doing it in their own speed. That was really what I wanted to say with this video actually. I'm not a vegetarian or vegan myself yet. I am still taking my baby steps, learning some more recipes, cutting down more and more. So my camera just stopped. But yeah, I'm not a vegetarian myself yet. I'm trying my best. And just if you can cut down meat from just one meal every day, or you can have one vegetarian day a week, or you can have a week of vegetarianism where you're like testing it out, and all of that will be amazing. Just steps in the right direction will still make a difference. Also, if you get to know like meals that you can share with your friends that are vegetarian, you are making a difference for not only yourself but also for other people, without them maybe knowing what you're doing. Like, just baby steps is also making a difference. Just believe in that and do this in your own speed. And if you are trying to make a difference, you are making a difference, okay? So yeah, this was a long rant, but it is something that I've just been asked to talk about so many times. I completely support vegetarianism and veganism, and I'm working on it myself, but I do think it has become quite a scary thing that people are so preachy and so provoking. We're kind of taking ourselves out of the food chain at the moment, and I just think it's important to just consider all of these facts, because for some people they make it seem like very easy to make this transition, and for some people it might be like very easy to do so. But once again, it still depends on your background and so many different things. If you are a person that's just liking any kind of food, if you have a background in a certain way where animals have a certain like value, or like there are so many different aspects to like where are you from in this world, like what traditions do you have. There are so many things to take into consideration, and I just think it's very important that you remember that when you are trying to force other people to become vegetarian or vegan as yourself. So yeah, this was such a long rant, but I felt like it was something I had to do because it's something I keep being asked about, and now it's out there. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this rant and I hope it made sense to you. I'm not trying to provoke anyone at all. I'm just trying to get in all of my points and all of my thoughts that have been just running around inside my head. So it's all out there now, and I hope you're not going to bash me for it. Like, please just be kind. I don't think being mean to anyone makes sense. No, not ever. It's not gonna get you what you want, and it's not going to make sense. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. If you want to subscribe, you can do that down below. I make so many different videos. I hope to be making more like this one in the future, where I can talk about subjects that might be a bit sensitive, but I really want to. Like, I feel like when I'm in my position and I can talk to so many people about things, I think I should use that. So if you have any suggestions for videos you would like for me to do in the future, comment down below if you have any like subjects and stuff. So yeah, that was it. I'm gonna stop now and I'll see you. Bye guys.